Hello, everyone, and welcome to our show. Today, we're on a podcast at the company Arteki, a specialized company that is very deeply and directly involved in creating cartoons, innovative software development, and advanced AI development for cartoons. And probably we will talk a little bit more about that today so that both our and your viewers find the discussion both engaging and highly interesting. To start directly, it's probably worth saying who we are, what Arteki is. If you talk to every employee of the company, probably each of them will say something different. The production staff will say that we are engaged in creating cartoons using neural technologies. The employees who deal with software naturally will say that we are engaged in creating software, writing code, developing AI, our own artificial intelligence. The people who do production with the cameras and all, they'll say that we're filming all the time, so everyone has their own vision. But overall, it's a very complex conglomerate, consisting of people, hardware solutions, and software solutions. It is a highly complex system that is geared specifically towards only one thing, making it easier to create cartoons for ordinary people and for large professional studios. And directly by our own example, with our very own cartoons, we aim to show that it is entirely possible. That's why we do both software and cartoon production. So that is it in a nutshell and in very clear language, because if you were to go into all the specific details, you could easily spend a great deal of time. So why did we take this on? To avoid, again, going into details, more technical aspects, to put it quite simply, we have a lot of work experience gained directly from the field. I've been in cinema, filming movies for the past 16 years of my life now. And in the company itself, there are many people even older than me at Arteki who understand what cinema is, understand what animation and cartoons are, understand how difficult it is, and understand all the pains and problems of it. And when we all came together here in the company Arteki specifically, we decided why not overcome these problems in our own ways? Yes, with the capabilities we have, the capabilities of AI. And we began the process of developing software, and simultaneously in parallel, we started creating animated cartoons. It all kind of went together naturally. So when encountering specific problems in creating these cartoons, we made the conscious decision to resolve these problems through our software. And what problems? The main problem with AI today, yes, artificial intelligence, is the lack of control. It's an absolute lack of control. That is, if you are a director, you want your character to be in a certain place at the right second and perform a certain action. A neural network is unable to give you that, so you get conditionally your actions, but not exactly what you want. Accordingly, a director, especially if it's a commercial product, simply cannot afford roughly like that. He needs it exactly like that. And we are currently solving this exact problem. If a director says a character goes from point A to point B, does a backflip, a full somersault, and then a complex dance from La La Land, we will have that exact movement ready, and the character will do what's needed. So, as of today, we've already successfully solved this problem, and the software is currently in the very final stages. Well, it's not just final, we're already producing our own cartoon. House Spirit, the cartoon itself is in the final stage, thanks to our software. And now we're already doing tests in the field of cinema. In the next podcast, I'll show you our studio, which is directly involved in filming with chroma key and virtual production. You'll see a slightly different side now, not cartoons, but cinema. But here we're only talking about cartoons.
Yeah, so you mentioned the movie about the house spirit, and y'all are moving into more cinema stuff. And what about the other ones like Marsh Legends and the one about the squirrel? I kind of liked because it reminded me of a childhood movie. That was one of my favorites, and the mystery movie. So like, when are those going to be implemented in the market, and we'll see those? We'll watch them in the movie theater.
Well, look, listen to this. Actually, I honestly probably won't even be able to do that. Despite being the CTO, I can't answer that and tell you about every single one of the cartoons because I simply don't know all the animation developments going on here. Marsh Legends, Legends of the Swamps is an incredibly massive and ambitious project that will consist of several episodes. Big, separate ones that are all closely interconnected with one another. A whole universe. It's a whole universe, in fact. And developments there are global, but the first episode is already practically ready for production, meaning there are some final script edits, character preparation. So pre-production is already in full swing there. In addition to those projects, we also handle external orders where we act in co-production, working in partnership with large companies. Naturally, I am unable to discuss the details of them, but there is a fair amount of such contracts. I cannot disclose many, but it is a decent number for what has been a considerably long period of work. So then, as of today, it really turns out House Spirit, that's Legends of the Swamps, Marsh Legends, and there's also the cartoon Osova about animals. It's all about animals on a Texas farm, which is also very interesting. It's currently in development, or actually already in production. Those are the specific cartoons I know about right now, but there are undoubtedly many more projects in the works here in this office. Various cartoons I haven't even begun to suspect yet.
Well, I'll tell you what, Sergey, Arteki is really one of the things that really excites me about Adam Ventures Group. And because, you know, Disney has dominated the landscape of animation, let's say, over the last 30, 40, 50 years, I guess. And, you know, there's a lot of good things about Disney, but there's a lot of bad things about Disney, and more so bad. And so what I'm interested in and what I like about this is our technology that you guys are putting together here is phenomenal. And it blew me away when I saw it in Panama when Dima and all the crew showed us the you know, what it could do. And it's so much better. It's so clearer. It's well, as Brock said, he said, you know, Dad, there's nothing like this anywhere in the world, technology-wise. And he's 20, so he knows a lot more about technology than I do, obviously, at 56. But, you know, I'm just really excited about the fact that you guys can do what they do in like a fraction of the time. You can do the same thing, even better than they do, but do it in a fraction of the time and at a lot lower cost. And to me, that is a win-win. That's a moneymaker. That is going to change the whole game in the world, not only in the U.S. but in the world. And I think, you know, we're poised to grab that that piece of the pie, and we're not going to give it back, right?
I definitely believe that is the case. Yes, I agree with you 100% on that. Those are absolutely the right words to use. Because the thing is that many companies and just ordinary people right now, seeing the rise of AI, they lose their heads and they perceive AI not as a separate tool. That can change some piece, a small cog in the work, right? And that cog will change everything fundamentally. They just perceive it as, oh, I can make a cartoon. No, you can't make a No, it's impossible. A neural network. Artificial intelligence doesn't work like that. We, however, approach this from a completely different side. First and foremost, we are filmmakers ourselves. Yes, animators, we're from this field. We're not outsiders. We understand what the problem is. So we decided to come at it from another angle, found the weak spots in classical animation. We understand where we can use AI to speed up, replace, or make our work easier. And we replace those little cogs with artificial intelligence. As a result, the pipeline, our entire workflow hasn't changed, but the timeframes have been significantly reduced multiple times over, and costs have been cut many times over as well, just because we replaced those very weak and fragile cogs that were under heavy pressure. We successfully got rid of them using our AI. Using our own AI, yes, it's not an external tool, it's an internal development.
Yeah. Well, it's the best I've ever seen, and I think I don't think there's going to be any competition. I mean, I really am. I can't tell you how impressed I am with what you guys are doing. There's a lot of smart people that's involved in this, and we're excited about it.
Yeah, we're way ahead of the market right now, so we're excited to be on the front end and see what it can do here in the next few years. But I want to ask you, you know, we've been seeing for the past couple months, or past couple weeks actually, the big new building that, you know, the company just got, and the big screen they have in there. You know, y'all been using screens like this behind us and stuff. So how will that change the game with having that massive screen that I'm looking forward to see on this trip?
Listen, Well, honestly, as someone who has been actively working in the field of virtual production for 8 years now, I can say from my professional perspective that these LED screens, in fact, really don't affect anything at the end of the day. Screens can be replaced with chroma key. Chroma key can be replaced with green cloth, blue cloth, right? After all, what did cinema start with, basically? With rear projection. It was a white canvas that they just projected video onto, right? And the famous shots in Some Like It Hot, where a person is on a boat, a motorboat, yeah, that's how they were filmed. So that's where cinema started, and that's where it's come back to now. So it's nothing more than a tool. And the most important thing in any company, and in ours too, is the people. The careful selection and recruitment of professionals is very precise. Truly exceptional individuals join the team, and they are the ones who drive the entire team forward, creating these new crazy inventions, right? You've seen Dima, you've talked to Dima, yeah, a crazy guy. And there should be people like him around for this crazy team to keep running. And that's why these people make these products. And screens. Today it's a screen. Tomorrow something new will appear, but you can't always be right at the cutting edge of technology if you don't have those same crazy people who follow all of this, who see it all. We're lucky we have those people.
Hey, crazy people change the world. Crazy people are the only people that's ever changed the world. You've got to think outside the box, and you guys are masters of that, obviously. You know, I'm not much on technology. I'm 56. I'm a little behind at times, but I'm just amazed. Again, I'm amazed that you guys can pull off what you're doing in such a short amount of time compared to the movie industry as a whole.
And a lot less people
Yeah.
to use. I mean,
it's just amazing. And that's what that's why I'm so excited about Arteki, is because of the what it's going to bring to not only maybe one day Brock's children or my grandchildren, and but again, the it's two sides of this. You know, one side is the production side, and I'm so excited about what it can do. I'm also Vitaly, also excited about the monetary side of this, because again, I see this being a home run. I mean, a grand slam. And Nikita, when he was in Chattanooga, he was asking me, "What is a home run?" So, and you know, it means hitting it over the fence, but in business terms, it means, you know, a knockout. You know, the champ. And so, like I said, this is going to be, because of such low cost and such high return. This is for investors. This is a no-brainer. I mean, an absolute no-brainer. And but for the true cinematic person, or I don't know what you would refer to yourself as, someone that worked in theater or worked in the cinema, you know, obviously you're a professional at what you're doing, and it's really neat to hear that you said the team is comprised of a lot of different professionals, and then because of your experience, you know how to, you know what needs fixing here and there, the weaknesses, as you said, and putting it together. And I think it's going to be an absolute bombshell in America. It'll zoom.
definitely bring some new life to the movie industry in America, as a lot of it has been corrupt over the last couple of years and stuff. So this is a real game changer for everyone in America and across the world even. Another question I have, I don't know if you are able to tell us this yet, but I've been wondering this, and I'm sure the people have been wondering this. When will we be able to know the mystery movie and what it's about?
No, you don't want to answer that. Look.
Actually, I only have a vague idea of what's inside those mystery packs. I have a general sense of which cartoons are featured there, but I don't have 100% of the information either. Other people definitely know a bit more about that than I do. As of today, regarding this pack, I know what I'm talking about, but I won't say anyway. I won't reveal this secret to you. There are some famous, very famous names there. And we have certain strict non-disclosure agreement obligations, so we simply can't disclose any of the details right now. But when it is finally revealed, even within our own team, it will be an absolutely big surprise, a truly wonderful and exciting surprise. Because people with names like the ones in these packs, well, I have to say it's wow, they are truly remarkable, legendary, world-class names.
So
It's a good answer. It's a good answer.
I can't say more. That's all I can say on these matters.
Yeah.
well, maybe this is something you can tell us. When will be the first movie out, and like when will we be able to watch it?
Well, the first cartoon will definitely be House Spirit, or Domovoy in Russian. It will be, I'm afraid to give you the wrong timeline, so I'll say approximately it'll be 2 to 4 months. It will be out in roughly that period of time. It's already in post-production, but again, all sorts of issues can arise. Like a frame needs changing, or the director isn't satisfied with a scene, and even if we expect it in 2 months, the director can change everything and say, no, 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 it'll be 4 months, we're changing a scene. It all depends on him. Another interesting feature being built into the Artex is a kind of assembly line. So we're building production thanks to our software. Yeah, this AI technology of ours. We're setting up the whole pipeline so that one part of a cartoon, say pre-production, the episode of cartoon A comes to an end, moves into production, and at that time, cartoon B enters pre-production, right? And it immediately starts being prepared. And in that way, as they progress through the entire supply chain, as soon as the first cartoon is ready, cartoon B is already on its way. Furthermore, this automated conveyor belt, as I mentioned before, thanks to our technology, it is now working for us. And as soon as our first cartoon is released, the second one will start coming out right away. Then the third, with a relatively brief interval of time between them. Well, for cinema and global animation, that's not an interval at all, wouldn't you say? When a cartoon is made globally, well, it takes several years, but we do it in 6 to 8 months, depending on the cartoon's complexity. Well, 8 months is the worst case scenario, and 2 to 3 years, those are incomparable scales and incomparable budgets for the global animation industry.
Yeah. 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 It is crazy. The timeline is just crazy.
Actually, why did we choose cartoons? First of all, we have quite a lot of specialists from this field, and again, from related ones. But a cartoon is still something kind, yeah, where it's family oriented again. It's easier for everyone to take in than a movie. With movies, it's harder to hit the right audience. Movies are harder perhaps to make, especially AI movies, but at the same time faster. A paradox too. A cartoon takes much longer to make, even though it's all unreal, it's fictional. But at the same time, there's something about cartoons that each of us watches, and it makes you feel warm inside. It's easier to perceive. You can watch it with a child, after all, right? And that is the main reason why we did not even have any of it. As long as I've been with Arteki, we never had that question. What will we do, a cartoon or a movie? For some reason, it was a cartoon right from the start. Well, I guess everyone agreed precisely because emotionally, it's closer to all of us than cinema. So,
Yeah, I think the animation brings out the kid in all of us. You know, it's even adults love animation.
well, yeah. And if we consider AI as a kind of 21st century magic, right? Then magic is closer to cartoons. So it's more logical to start the magic with cartoons. That's how we started.
So, Sergey, tell me, Serge, what's the plan for the next few years? I mean, as we look down the road with Arteki, what's on the horizon that you see?
Okay. Good question. Listen, actually, let's take a moment to look at several different aspects here. If we are talking specifically about the advanced AI software systems, which I'm also personally responsible for to a fairly large and significant extent, our roadmap there is laid out for probably 5 years. There's enough work for a full-scale studio for a very, very long time. It's all being done, it's all being trained, and again, we're doing the training ourselves. So magic is happening there, but it's understandable. As for the actual production of animated films, we also have, well, probably 10 different animated films in the plans right now. Those are just the ones that I know are already scheduled, that we definitely want to make. These are strictly our own. That's without co-production, without outside companies or famous directors. These are strictly internal projects. They exist too. Plus, what is closer to me is probably the very closest thing right now. We're currently trying to see how we can optimize the creation of major feature films. not just animation, but live action cinema too. So we have a foundation. We have a large studio, as I mentioned, which also has virtual production with big screens. We're developing our own tracking systems. We're developing our own body and face capture systems, motion capture. We are currently developing advanced artificial intelligence solutions for keying, and also with high quality, real-time background addition. So we have many, many new developments, and now we really want to see how we can combine all of this in cinema so that, again, the pipeline would be roughly similar. I mean, we're not going to reinvent the wheel, just sit down and make a movie with AI. Nobody needs that. Nobody's interested in that. It has to be a director's product. But how can we help a director eliminate delays, cut crazy budgets for VFX and CG, even during filming, so they don't have to reshoot elements? That's what we're thinking about now. And I think we'll find a solution soon. In fact, I'm inviting you directly to our studio floor. You can see what it's all about. We'll record another podcast with you there, show everyone, and you'll see firsthand how grand it is. In the future, in the very near future.
I'm excited to see it in action and go and see all the suits you have on, to make everything move and the big screen. Like I'm really excited to see, what makes it and how y'all can do it so quickly.
So, one last question. The one you're doing right now, the House Spirits thing, how do you think that's going to hit with the U.S. market? And what's your, what is your perspective there?
The Atom Company currently has a collaborative joint project, a strategic joint venture with Don Perry over in the United States. Yes, and we are currently in very active and detailed discussions with him, diligently working together to find a viable solution to all these questions about how to promote it in the market. So there's a specific solution there. I don't think there will be any problems. If from the point of view of the cartoon about a traditional Slavic house spirit, so the broader American audience gets it, that's exactly what's being worked on right now. The director and the creative team are doing this so that for Americans, right, who didn't grow up with the house spirit legend, so I guess it's not quite clear to them, right? So what we are doing is trying to break everything down, so it's not just our house spirit, but so you'd understand, like the friendly Casper, right? Like for us, it was Casper the ghost. What is that? But to be honest, we all grew up on that here, and it was all perfectly fine. It'll be the same for you, right? And as for promotion, I think there won't be any issues either. The Donna Perry company will help with all of that.
Yeah, that's a neat comparison with Casper. I think that's something that Americans would recognize and go, oh, that's what it is.
And you're bringing your culture into it, which is pretty cool because, it's not familiar with us. When you were telling us about what it is, stuff, we had no idea. So it'll be cool.
Well, yeah, that was actually our goal, to show a part of our culture, but in a way that you'd understand it too. Not just you, but the whole world, right? So that the cartoon becomes multi-global, and we could show it in absolutely any country without total misunderstanding or total rejection. I mean, it should be clear to everyone, maybe from their own perspective, but still to everyone. That's the whole point of a cartoon. That any animated cartoon can be watched in any country, and you'll still get a good amount of enjoyment out of it. Something will resonate, even if you don't understand a single word of the language.
So we've been talking about movies and big cinemas and animations, but what about the other side of it and the techie marketplace and making movie generations for the everyday person, and where they can go and use the techie token to make their own little animations, 2-minute videos and stuff, and bring their emotions to life. How do you see that working, and how how's that work?
Look, actually, it's all very simple here. We have the first platform, which is specifically designed for big business. We're making it specifically for large companies and major productions with extensive experience, who truly understand what motion capture is, who have established pipelines where many people work together. Again, everyone understands everything perfectly, and it's a well-oiled machine, much like a busy anthill. If we streamline and simplify this platform a bit, and remove the very complex components that are impossible to work with single-handedly, where a massive, dedicated team of experts is required. But at the same time, the program itself remains exactly the same. It doesn't stop producing the final result this very frame. We simplify it and make it accessible to the general public. So, essentially, these are two virtually indistinguishable platforms. One is just a bit more complex inside, the other is a bit simpler inside. But from the outside, they appear to be completely indistinguishable. And then, an individual user, a single individual working from the comfort of their own home, can use this slightly simplified platform to create highly customized and perfectly relevant 2 or 3 minute drafts, cartoons, or even full animations. No problem at all. This is exactly what will be made available for the average user.
So let's say I wanted to make a 2 minute, animation of me in Belarus. How long would that take to generate?
That's a good question. A 2 minute cartoon of you in Belarus. If you really want to go for complete photorealism in your work, then it would probably take you, well, I'd say about one full day. If you're making a cartoon version of yourself, then I think you could get it done in half a day.
It's crazy.
Your English is good, so you'll be able to write good prompts, and so
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably according to the talent available, right? I mean, like it might take him longer.
well, we'll see. Once the software is out, we'll test it.
Well, Serge, we really appreciate, I know on behalf of Brock and myself, we really appreciate everything you guys have done for us here and inviting us on the podcast and just seeing, more in-depth behind the scenes, behind the curtains with Arteki. And I know the people in the U.S. are very, very excited about where this is going. And we can't thank you enough for having us here in the studio.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. That's it. Bye-bye.